Hello, I'm Dr. E. Barry Gordon, and this is the 10th in my series of videos on testosterone deficiency. Today I'm going to cover two subjects. You might look at them as the prelude to the coming series of specific diseases and conditions that are caused by or worsened by testosterone deficiency. Firstly, in order for you to intelligently consider the entire spectrum of the testosterone deficiency-related diseases I'm going to be discussing in future videos, I think you should have a clear understanding of why I have strong doubts about the credibility and value of much of the many decades of research that has been done on testosterone and testosterone deficiency. According to a government website, there have been over 70,000 studies published on the subject of testosterone. Many of these have been laboratory studies, meaning work done on laboratory animals or in test tubes. Others, however, have been clinical studies done on people, and it is the results of those that I question. In the 6th video of this series, I detailed the faults and errors inherent in current testosterone testing. To a significant degree, because of them, the disease of testosterone deficiency has been and continues to be grossly and routinely underdiagnosed and misdiagnosed. I know of no reason to believe that researchers were or are immune to making those same mistakes. In addition, almost all of the treatment studies I have seen used what I believe to be minimally effective methods of testosterone replacement. I believe more effective treatment would have radically altered their findings. There'll be much more about treatment in a future video. This historic and ongoing problem of insensitive testosterone tests and erroneous laboratory reference ranges, combined with minimally effective replacement regimens, may well have rendered the results of many or most of the clinical studies done on testosterone highly inaccurate or even worthless. And secondly, while the remainder of the videos on the health effects of testosterone deficiency will be presented in approximate chronological order, starting with the youngest to be affected and progressing to more mature age groups, today I'm going to focus on 5 specific studies done on geriatric populations. I've mentioned these studies before, but now I'm going to quote from all 5. I believe that these studies are critically important. They leave no doubt about 2 facts. Testosterone deficiency is a fatal disease, and testosterone deficiency has a very broad scope of adverse effects and kills us in many, many different ways. 4 of the studies were published between August 2006 and November 2007. Their purpose was to examine whether there was any relationship between testosterone levels in men and lifespans. The full abstracts and many dozens of others are available on my website, www.thehiddendisease.com. In the August 2006 issue of the Archives of Internal Medicine, the geriatric research section of the Veterans Administration Puget Health Care System reported on their study titled Low Serum Testosterone and Mortality in Male Veterans. Their conclusion, quote, low testosterone levels were associated with increased mortality in male veterans, close quote. A study out of the University of California, San Diego, titled Low Serum Testosterone and Mortality in Older Men was published in the October 2007 issue of the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. Their conclusions, quote, testosterone insufficiency in older men is associated with increased risk of death over the following 20 years, independent of multiple risk factors and several pre-existing health conditions, close quote. The University of Cambridge School of Medicine did a study with a title too long to include. It was published in the November 2007 issue of the journal Circulation. Their conclusions, quote, in men, endogenous testosterone concentrations are inversely related to mortality due to cardiovascular disease and all causes. Low testosterone may be a predictive marker for those at high risk of cardiovascular disease, close quote. The 4th study came out of our National Institute of Health. It was published in the November 2007 issue of the Archives of Internal Medicine. their main conclusion. Quote, age-associated decline in anabolic hormone levels, that's testosterone, is a strong independent predictor of mortality in older men. Close quote. The fifth is coming out of Harvard and looks at the relationship between testosterone and mortality in a different way. Dr. Amy Desoritz reported at a recent medical conference that men whose testosterone was essentially completely eliminated as part of their treatment for prostate cancer had a 20% higher mortality rate than those men whose testosterone was left alone. So there it is. 5 separate studies done by top-flight research institutions and published in prestigious journals. And they all showed the same thing. The more testosterone in men, the longer they live. The lack of testosterone is ultimately fatal. The natural question to arise is, what about women? The lack of similar studies in women is a reflection of the pervasive sexual bias that exists when it comes to almost anything having to do with testosterone in females. But if we look at basic biological realities, men and women have the same need for testosterone. The hormone provides energy and physical strength and sexuality to both sexes. It creates a sense of self-confidence and suppresses depression and anxiety in both sexes. Moreover, men and women, with a few obvious exceptions, suffer from and die from the same diseases. As you learn about testosterone-related diseases in coming videos, I'm sure you will agree that there is no doubt but that the more there are physiologic levels of testosterone in women, the longer they also will live. I want you to again note another very important aspect of the results of these studies. Aside from one passing reference to cardiovascular diseases, not one of the many researchers in the first 4 studies pointed to any specific disease or even group of diseases as being responsible for the younger deaths of the more severely testosterone deficient men. Logically, that would have been a basic part of the studies, but no causes for mortality popped out of their statistics. The author of the 5th study, the one from Harvard, actually specifically stated that. To quote the MedPage Today article about the 20% higher death rate as a result of the treatment for their prostate cancer, quote, while anti-androgen therapy, that's testosterone depletion, has been known to cause a range of adverse events, including some involving the cardiovascular system, Dr. Desoritz said the available data don't allow her to say exactly what caused the increased risk in her study. The repeated inability to find the causes of death in these men is critically important to understanding the nature of testosterone deficiency. The disease affects us in a very wide variety of ways, and I believe plays a significant role in most causes of death. In my next video, I'll begin discussing the many and varied specific adverse health effects of testosterone deficiency. Finally, as I ask at the end of every segment, if you think these videos are of any value, help me educate the country about the existence of this disease by emailing the video links to everyone in your address book, and ask them to do the same. I'm Dr. E. Barry Gordon. Thank you for watching.